Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fine, and you?
Good.
Good. Good too. I'm just not showing my video because I'm moving around and it's really irritating when people do that.
Oh, that's me right now.
Well, I can't, well, no, I'm like walking up and down the steps kind of moving.
Okay.
You're trying to make us all dizzy?
Well, I'm not, that's.
Well, we appreciate that. Thank you. And I think this is all of us. You guys all got here by 10 because Wendy can't make it today. So, wow. All right. Well, let me stop sharing my screen so that we can all see each other better. Hi. So, good morning. Good morning. First of all, my apologies for not sending an email this week. I completely forgot. There was nothing you needed to be prepared with, and so you know, no, but you're fine, just the way you are. Just one little bit of business. I am struggling with an eye thing right now, and so I'm super uncomfortable, and so we're going to be a little bit shorter today, and I'm going to use a 12-minute video, which normally I wouldn't do, but I just talking and the singing took a lot out of me this morning. So thank you for understanding. I appreciate it. So first of all, can I ask you, how are your little cork magnets doing?
Three.
Wait, what did you say, Pam?
I said, actually, the one in the pot is growing.
Yay! Well, that's fun. And what did you say, Susan?
2 out of 3 are hopeful. The one in the pot didn't make it.
Okay. All right. Lori, Ellen.
I'm really one for 3.
My pot is the only thing that did make it. But you know, it's great fun. I'm here. Whatever.
Lori?
I'm 1 for 2 because mine never made it to the pot, and then 1 like took a dive off the refrigerator like the first day it wasn't glued well enough.
Oh no.
So there's 1 that's sitting up on my ledge above my sink, and that one is thriving, which is outstanding for me.
Oh, that's fun. Very cool. Alyssa, got any left?
Barely. The one in the cork's hanging on. Maybe I'll remember to water it, and maybe that'll help. But I have other succulents, and I don't think any of the other ones are from. I can't remember what I planted and what. The one in the pot I made is gone, and the other cork is gone. So I think I'm down to one, barely hanging on.
You can plant, maybe you can plant an herb in the pot or something and use it for something else. It's about that. So I wanted to show you mine. So here's one of them. It still looks just like it did the day I planted it. And these are thriving on benign neglect. I think I've put like 1 drop of water in. And check this one out. This one just cracks me up. I had to show you.
We'll call that aspiration.
Right? It is totally growing toward the window, right? So, well, that's really cool. It brings me joy every time I look at them because we had fun and just watching them. They just have minds of their own, don't they? One of the plants that it came from, now it really looks Dr. Seussy. It's gotten super, super tall. And I think that means it's going to flower and die, which is okay because that's all part of the life cycle. But I have to turn it literally 3 times a day because it goes toward the sun. And it just like, and I'm like, okay, it's right behind my sink. So I'm constantly just turning it around. So, well, that's cool. Okay. So attendance is done. I think who's missing? Wait a second. Oh, you know who isn't here is Abby. Okay. All right. Yeah, we are missing one. Okay. I was looking, I'm like, there should be 7. Anyway, I'll let her in if she comes. So that's attendance. And then just a reminder for tzedakah. If you have any tzedakah you'd like to give. Also, with Passover coming up, tzedakah is a tradition to give tzedakah, especially on Passover. So there's another opportunity to give if you're interested. And again, it will be collected at the end of the semester. So today, let me pull my little thingy up again. Today, we are going to talk a little bit about gratitude. So, you kind of, and its connection to Tikkun Olam and just gratitude in and of itself. So, has anybody ever heard about the requirement to say 100 blessings per day? Does anybody know where that comes from?
Rabbi Shauna.
That's a great resource.
In the Torah
Anybody know where Rabbi Shauna might have gotten it from?
liturgy.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. And I didn't know either. I looked it up, you guys. So it's the case of the teacher staying one step ahead of the students, right? So here we go. So it's actually, the background is from the Talmud. Rabbi Meir teaches that we should make 100 blessings per day. And there's a couple verses in the Torah that this comes from. And one is from Deuteronomy. There's a verse that says, "And now Yisrael, and now Israel, what does Adonai your God ask from you?" And the word for what is ma, mem he, which can also be read mea. Mea is the Hebrew word for 100. So that's where one of them, so 100, you might read it, 100 Adonai asks of you, right? And then Rashi explained it, the mea instead of ma. And in other words, the verse continues that God wants us to be in awe of God, to love and to serve God with all our hearts and souls. And then we understand the 100 where he says, "And now Yisrael, God asks 100 of you," to be 100 blessings to show our awe and love of God. And I wanted to give you an example that I came across. There is of course, a Jewish musician, I'm all over these Jewish musicians, Sam Glazer. And he wrote this, which really resonated with me. Much of the time when I point out a stunning sunset or a spectacular moon, my kids shrug, yeah, whatever, Dad, saw it yesterday. The only thing that prevents Technicolor sunsets from utterly shocking us is their frequency. As one who wants to remain shocked at the vibrancy of life, I've attuned myself to maintain a sense of wonder, to make every moment an aha moment. What do you guys think of that?
He's living life.
Yeah, but I think every moment has to be an aha moment. That's a little much. I think trying to maintain your sense, of wonder is wonderful, but I think that's a real heavy lift.
Mhm.
Every moment. That's
I
crazy.
think it's maybe being open to that when that presents itself.
Good point, Lori. Good point.
Yeah. What else? Has anybody else ever experienced something like that with your kids or with other people? Do you know yeah, Pam, you too?
We have a beautiful backyard that looks out on a lake through the trees. We're lucky. And we stand there almost every night at sunset and say, we are so blessed to live in this house and be able to see this scene every day.
Yeah.
We really do. We appreciate it so much because we came from very humble beginnings and we worked hard. And to have this, we feel very fortunate.
Isn't it amazing how sunsets bring it out in us?
Mm-hmm.
I noticed the same thing. I am fortunate enough to be able to go every year to Hawaii. My parents live there in the winter. And so I didn't go this past year, but most of the time we go every year. And we have a condo that's on the 4th floor that looks out over the ocean from Kihei. And that time of year that I go, which is January, the sunsets are absolutely stunning. And I just keep taking pictures of them. And my kids are like, don't you have enough pictures of sunsets, Mom? Come on. And I'm like, nope, never, never. And they're all different. It's never exactly the same. And it just takes my breath away every time. And in Hawaii, there is a tradition. Does anybody know what the tradition is when the sun goes down in Hawaii? What Native Hawaiians used to do, and some people do now?
Take a couple shots.
Take a couple shots. Yeah, right. It's like my post about tequila versus tefillah. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I had set a reminder on my friend in the kitchen who reminds me of things. I don't want to say her name because she'll wake up. And I told her to remind me about tefillah in 30 minutes. And of course, what came up was, tequila in 30 minutes. Anyway, so in Hawaii, the tradition, whenever the sun sets, whenever the sun sets in Hawaii, the tradition is to salute the sunset. And the way they do that is by blowing a conch shell, which has this beautiful sound like a trumpet. And they blow the conch shell and they blow it to all 4 directions. Think lulav here, right? We're shaking our lulav, right? And they blow it 4 times to salute the sunset. And they start just before the sun goes down and it finishes just after. And my parents have a neighbor who does it every night. And it just, it's such a great way to, drive the awareness and the recognition and the wonder and all that good stuff. So any other thoughts about that 100 blessings a day thing, other than, gosh, that seems like an awful lot, and that's maybe a little ridiculous, and it's being open to it. We heard. What else? Are there any other thoughts about it?
I want to say, I think it's a great idea. It was just that every moment phrase that made me think, whoa.
Yeah, huh?
Fabulous idea. And we do
a little woo-woo, right?
Yeah, a little. That's all though.
Susan, what were you going to say?
It's a nice goal to have. Realistic, not quite sure, but it makes us aware of things that we need to be looking for and perhaps heighten our awareness of appreciation and gratitude.
Yeah. So one thing I came across, go ahead, Pam, were you going to say something? I
No,
see your mouth move. So one thing I came across that I thought was interesting was a perspective that practicing gratitude, right? So that's sort of a thing that has come in, a phrase that has come into being more recently, right? Because I don't remember us talking about practicing gratitude when we were younger. We talked about being grateful, but you know, there's things called a gratitude practice. And somebody, there was an article that I read. It was somebody prominent who wrote an op-ed about how gratitude is overrated, and that gratitude makes us leads to us being complacent. What do you think of that? I mean, if you're grateful for everything, do you stop aspiring to more?
that's a good question.
No, I don't think so. I really disagree with that pretty strongly, because being grateful for the sunset doesn't make me strive less to, I don't know, have a better view of it or see it from a different place or appreciate it more tomorrow. I don't see that. Somebody
Maybe it's
Yeah.
what you're being grateful for. I mean, those are the things in nature, but there's, you know, when I get a referral that comes through on my computer, you know, I'm grateful. And on days that they come in abundance, I'm extremely grateful. But I think there are other things in life that I forgot where I was going with this. Sorry. I just woke up not too long ago.
That's all right.
Like when I texted Susan, I was still in bed.
Forgot to change our clocks last night. So yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Lori.
It's gone, huh?
Yeah,
If
it's gone.
back, just let us know. So here's another context for that might be that you know, if you're constantly saying how grateful you are for, you know, I love the community of Solon. I think we have great schools here. I'm so grateful my kids went through those schools. Those are amazing. Is that going to make me stop striving to make them better? There's another way to look at it, right?
What's your vested interest now that your kids are gone, though?
Well, forget that.
Oh, I don't know. Your vested interest is a good community, is keeping your community strong. We don't have kids.
I'm being devil's advocate here. If I think it's already great and I'm grateful for it,
Well, grateful doesn't need to be great or perfect. It's where you are in that moment.
Mm-hmm. So interestingly, because like I said, I'm being devil's advocate. Interestingly, there is a lot of research and science around gratefulness now. And Dr. Robert Emmons is the preeminent guy who's doing these studies. And the way that he answers that challenge is with science, which I love. So they do all kinds of studies. And what they discovered is that people who have a regular gratitude practice, like keeping a gratitude journal or writing thank you notes to people regularly, or thanking some, you know, just going out of their way to be grateful for things, actually make more change, more positive change. They're more driven to improve things. Do you see where I'm going with this? Little Tikkun Olam going on here, right? So the science suggests that the more we count our blessings, the more we pay it forward, the more we want to make those other things better, the more we reach out to others, the more compassionate we are. It's really quite interesting. So I'm going to share another slide with you. So Dr. Emmons says, you know, when he asked, what's the point of gratitude, right? What's good about it? Think about those sunsets, right? It allows celebration of the present. Sorry, I want to change my view so I can see you all. Gosh, remember when we didn't know how to use Zoom at all? Okay. Another thing he says, so yeah, celebration of the present. So being in the moment, what's another word for being in the moment?
Here.
Being here. What do we say? That you're being present or mindful is the word I was looking for, but being present is another good one, right? So celebrating the present. And this is all research based. Okay, so I have to put my glasses on again so I can get the 4 things. But gratitude blocks toxic emotions and these are the 4 examples: envy, because you're grateful for what you have; resentment, regret, and actually depression. So the research suggests that being grateful, being consciously grateful for things can help to combat. It doesn't get rid of, right? It's not the cure for depression. There are other things, right? But the research shows that it can help. Grateful people are more stress resilient. And strengthen social ties and self-worth. So like the example that I gave, when you're grateful for something, it seems to make you more inclined to help someone else. And then let me see here. What else did I want to say? I was thinking about this with respect to, let me stop sharing this again. So I started thinking about expressing gratitude. And is there anybody here who is keeping a gratitude journal currently? So I'm not either. And I guess I might have tried once or twice and it felt so hokey. Okay, I felt so silly. I had read that writing this stuff down, and I think this was at the beginning of the pandemic, and I was looking for ways to stay grounded and, just understanding that even with all that crap going on, that there were still very good things going on. And I wanted to remind myself. And again, research. I'm such a science person, you guys. I'm totally a science geek. The science says that writing it down makes a huge difference. You can't just sit there and look at it and say, wow, I'm so grateful for my health. Okay, you can say it, but it's so much more powerful if you write it. I wonder if that's why we take pictures of so many sunsets, because it becomes more real to us if we actually record it I don't know. I'm just making that up, but could be. I don't know. So, so the research suggests that it's much more powerful if you write it down. And what's even more powerful, how many of you have gone out of your way to say thank you to somebody else? Ellen, give me an example.
Believe it or not, the grocery store workers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy, in the produce section there's one in particular who always has a smile on his face, but through the pandemic, I've tried, not every time by any means, to say to these people, I really, even though you were the heroes at the beginning and you got a lot of attention and now you don't, I still appreciate what you do. The lady at the fish counter is a particular friend. Stuff like that.
Yeah. Who else has an example? Oh, wait, before we do that, Ellen, how do you think your expression of gratitude makes the produce guy feel?
Some of them are just thanks, but I think most of them are genuinely appreciative. And of course, it makes me feel wonderful.
You just went right where I was leading you.
Yeah, I know.
But it's true, or you wouldn't have said it.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a little story to share. This is a little off it, but not really. I have a son who's physically handicapped. And when he was little, he did not, well, like most of us, didn't like to ask for help. with things. And I said to him, and I'm sure this came from some counselor, it was not original, with, how do you feel when you help somebody else? You feel good. Well, if you ask Joe for help, you've made Joe feel really good. And that sometimes was helpful. So it was kind of a, that's not quite your point, but it's a little bit.
That's a flip side of it, right? I mean, I used to tell that to my kids, you know, if somebody, if you're walking past somebody and they look like they might have, you know, and they ask you to hold the door for them, don't you feel good for having done it? Like if they're in a wheelchair or something and they can't get in and they need your help, don't you feel good doing it? And they said, yeah. They said, then why don't you feel the same way to ask somebody else? Because they would, if it's something they can do, that probably make them feel good too. Yeah.
Yeah.
What other examples do you have of where you actually went out of your way to thank somebody? And how did that go?
Well, we were in McDonald's getting breakfast for our grandchildren one morning, and we pulled up and the lady said, yours is paid for. And we said, what? And there was a car in front of us full of kids with I guess a mom, and she paid for our meal. We were so thankful we paid for the people behind us.
I love it. I love hearing that story. I
Yeah,
know that people did that, but I've never been involved in one of the, what do they call that? A gratitude chain?
paying it forward.
Paying it forward. Yeah. I love that, Pam. That's I love that you were part of that. How cool.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider starting one?
Yeah, we haven't since then.
Cool.
It makes you stop and think when you're at the drive-in again.
Absolutely.
So this is simple, but inevitably when you go to Aldi's, your first 4 steps, you've forgotten your quarter for the cart. And it's really nice when, you know, you're heading back, you know, someone's heading back or you are, and then someone just says, here's the cart.
Mm-hmm.
And inevitably in that situation, either I leave the cart up there that's available or I give it to somebody else. It's crazy. It's simple, but that makes, I don't know, it makes you stop and think.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I always say thank you. And sometimes I just do it rotely. So that's really kind of hard, but it's because it's rote, it's not as intentional. But I know when I'm being more intentional when I try to pay them a compliment about something. Oh, you know, that color looks really good on you, or something that's a little more personal. And you have to watch it, and it's also in the mood.
Yeah, if it's not genuine, it doesn't make anybody feel good.
Yeah.
So yeah. Any other examples? So, what was I going to say? I don't think I made a slide for this one. Oh, I can't find it. There was somewhere that I was reading when I was studying for this about the word awesome and how overused it is. What do you think of that?
Awesome.
You ever been around somebody who says awesome all the time? Oh, that's awesome. It would be awesome if you could go get my coffee and hand it to me.
To me, it's like that generic thank you when you're just not really thinking about what it means.
I say it a lot.
Too. And I write it like in emails and I capitalize it and exclamation points and whatever. Is everything really awesome?
Well, when I tell Diesel it is, it's true.
Oh, that's so awesome, Lori.
Sorry.
So I think that kind of gets back to the mindfulness thing too, and about being genuine and really being appreciative is, you know, being mindful of how you do it. And there is a guy, and now of course I can't remember his name, and it's too hard to find it on the computer. Trust me, and I'll send it out later if you're interested. But I heard him first. There was an NPR thing on gratitude last week, and AJ Simons, maybe. He writes books where he goes out and does something, and then he writes about it. And what he did is his son challenged him about thanking people. So like, I guess at dinner, they had this habit of thanking the farmers for the food that they had grown, and the truckers for driving it to them, and, and the people who make the road, because if the road wasn't there, then the truck couldn't come. And, so the whole chain of things. And his son challenged him to thank every single person for something. And so he did. He turned it into a project and to something that was near and dear to all of our hearts. It was his cup of coffee, his morning cup of joe. He couldn't be without it. And he was so grateful for it that he spent a year going back and thanking everybody who even remotely, ridiculously had anything to do with bringing his cup of coffee to him. And in his TED talk, he gave an example of, first of all, obviously the barista, right? So thanking the barista and appreciating the barista. And he talked about how when you thank somebody, sometimes unexpectedly, not only do they open up to you, right? A little bit. And so he gave the example of when he was thanking the barista and talking to her about, she always has a smile on her face and how much he appreciates that. And she said, you don't know how hard it is some days to do that, and I guess she had some physical problems and whatever. And so he started to feel bad. And then she's like, no, but it was really, it's so meaningful that you appreciate it, and so we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So anyway, he went through a year and thanked over 1,000 people personally. So either by phone calls or letters or emails. He traveled around the world. He went to Costa Rica and visited the coffee growers. He made a call. This is another one that I loved. He called the pest control person from the warehouse and thanked her for keeping bugs out of his coffee. And, and it is taking it ridiculously far, but and some people were sort of peremptory about it, right? And they were like, yeah, whatever, but so many people really appreciated it, and it really helped him feel better. So, where I'm going. Go ahead, Ellen. What?
No, I looked it up, and all I did was Google NPR and gratitude, and it came right up, and it's AJ Jacobs.
AJ Jacobs, not Simons, right? I had AJ.
Just so you know, but
the Jewish boy.
Instantly.
Well done. Yeah. So it's just interesting stuff. I actually found a list of like, I don't know, 36 videos about gratitude. And I was kind of looking at them and looking at excerpts. And I thought about showing you one today on here. And then I just decided what I'm going to do is send you the link. And if you're inspired to look at any of them, and it's neat because they kind of come at it from different angles. And I thought I'm going to send you that and hope that, if you're inspired to look at another perspective about it, go for it. But rather than do a project today, since I'm just not feeling well, what I would like you to do, like you to consider, everybody approaches gratitude differently. We all say thank you every now and then to somebody. While we're on our spring break, we don't meet again until April 18th. April 18th. And I forgot to ask you on email if you wanted to stay extra, if you wanted to stay for that 2-hour paper cutting, or if you wanted me to ask her to keep it to 1.5 hours. So I'll just float that again. Sorry, I'm going all over the place. Last time at class, we talked about how the paper cutting artist would prefer to have a 2-hour class because then we can get it all done and have a chance to show it. But she respects it if people are like, I don't want to be on 2 hours. She's totally cool with that. And so I wanted to kind of see if you guys might be willing, or are you okay if we continue for 2 hours if you need to back off to go after an hour and a half. So if you want to, I saw 2 thumbs up. If you, I don't, again, I'm getting thumbs up. Okay, good. So it looks like we're all in. I will tell her that. Back to the assignment. So for the time that we're off, I would like to ask you, if you would, to think about what's going to be the most meaningful to you to try. One thing they say about keeping a gratitude journal is that, yes, it feels hokey at first. And Dr. Emmons, the gratitude guy, talked about fake it till you make it. And it can take a few weeks. And if you just force yourself to write something down every day, a couple things, 1 thing, 2 things, whatever, then you kind of get into it and you kind of start to reap the benefits of it. So that's one option. Another option, and that can be I was actually thinking of that in conjunction with what we did last time with the Zentangle. And I was thinking that would be a fun way to decorate your journal, to actually have it as a gratitude art journal, so that you can do both at once. I think I actually have a slide with this. Let me check. What did I say here? Oh, wait, no, that's from the last one. I never changed it. Okay. Yeah, forget about your enemy's fruit trees for a moment. Sorry about that. So then the other idea was to actually think of 3 people that you can write a thank you note to, and send it to them. Somebody who, you go out of your way to do that, and to just show your appreciation and write something down and do that. And then the other thing was to just maybe watch one of those videos. If you don't want to do any of the other ones, if you're like, totally, I am not doing this gratitude thing, I just invite you to try one of the videos. Oprah has a 4-minute one on this list where she talks about keeping her gratitude journal and what it's meant to her and stuff, and why gratitude's important. And so that's what I was thinking. This would be a good thing for the next few weeks. It gives you some time to think about it and to try something and try it on, and see how it feels for you. Everybody's different. So does that sound good?
Sure.
All right, guys. So we're going to end a little bit early today. And does anybody have any parting thoughts they want to give on this gratitude thing or anything else we've learned so far?
I'm grateful for you and the class.
Oh, thank you.
I am. I've enjoyed it. And I appreciate you making the effort, especially today. I want to not draw this out because I want you to get off and take care of your eye.
I'm okay. And there's nothing I can see that's wrong with it, but it's like, it's the whole, my throat hurts from it and my nose is running. It's just blah. Anyway, I have an appointment tomorrow. If it's still painful, I'll talk to her about it then. So thank you.
Somebody showed something.
Oh, that was me.
Oh, yay, you're doodling.
There's a little bit of there.
Woot, woot. Oh, look at that. You did some dangles, Lori. I love it. Do you know who does art like that with the dangles?
No.
Her name is Joanne Fink. She is the one who did, her website is called Zenspirations. And she does Jewish stuff. I actually tried to get her to come and do a class with us, but she doesn't do mornings. So, hopefully maybe in the future, maybe we can do something with her, but she does those dangling things. So much fun. It's called zenspirations.com. And she has a whole Jewish section too. So.
Lori, show yours again.
I always have trouble with where's the camera.
Oh.
That's adorable. That could be your border at the top of your gratitude journal.
What will move me at the time, but thank you.
That's right. That's right. Alyssa, you're so quiet.
I was going to throw in one more thing that I was going to say earlier. I'm not one of those big ones in Temple when we share, in the Misha Rock. That's a personal thing for me, but I really have gotten into the gratitude part of the service. I enjoy doing that, and I enjoy reading what other people say. So in that gratitude and in that environment under that umbrella, I really enjoy that.
Does everybody know what Lori's talking about?
Mhm.
Those of you who might not come to services during the Shalom Rav, I believe it is, the rabbi prompts everybody to consider what they're grateful for, and if they feel like typing it into the chat, to type it into the chat. And I do the same thing, Lori. When I'm singing, I have the chat open so I can see them scrolling past, and I try not to lose my place. But it's really cool to see that. I've been wondering if when we go back to when we're able to meet in person again, it's going to be interesting to see how those kinds of new practices that we have are going to translate, and how it will change the way we worship in person. Maybe it'll be one of those silver learnings that Shauna has been telling us about. So Alyssa, you've been very quiet. Is everything okay?
Yeah, there's just a lot of background noise at my house today, and I didn't want to, it would interfere. I don't know what they're doing. My kids are doing in their class. They sound like they're having fun, but it's just been kind of busy here today.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that, I'm glad that they're having fun. That's awesome. That's awesome. See, I did it. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to say one more thing that I forgot about praise, like saying something's awesome and being genuine about it. Have you ever seen when a kid holds up a piece of artwork and says, "Look what I did," and somebody goes, "That's so awesome. You are so good." And that it can be nice, but it's not, the whole being meaningful about how you're saying thank you. What it comes to me is, so what I learned when my kids were growing up is instead say, "Wow, that is so awesome. I loved the way you used red to color that part in." So like comment on something specific. And, because then it's actually recognizing the uniqueness of what it is that they did that was cool. It's not just this generic thing. And I thought that really applied to showing gratitude as well. You don't just want to be, "Oh, thank you. You are so awesome." But thanking the barista for the smile, even though it's early in the morning, "Boy, I really needed that smile with my coffee this morning," or, whatever it is. So just, thanking the postal carrier. "Gosh, today it's so cool that you brought my mail to the door because my foot hurts and I didn't want to walk out there. So you bringing it here was really," instead of just saying, "Oh, I'm so grateful that you're out there to, delivering
I
mail."
thank him when he doesn't bring me bills if I'm outside.
There you go. So, try to make it personal. That was the other thing is, that was my last thing.
So I
All
think
right.
with the praising the kids thing, it's also, talking about the effort it took to do it.
Huge.
As instead of saying, "That's great," but you took, that took you a lot of time and
Yeah, I see that you worked really hard on that.
right.
And yeah, because there's too much of that dropping praise everywhere without it being meaningful. And I think, so there it is. And by the way, in case you are curious, there are all kinds of articles about how to actually do 100 blessings a day, to offer 100 a day and what you can offer them for. And so if you're interested, I will include that link, even if it's just for scientific reasons that you're curious. And hopefully I will see you somewhere in between. There's Passover, Women's Seder. There's Shauna baking on Tuesday night. Monday night, sorry. Tomorrow. And then, of course, we have services. And then we have Tefillah on the 11th. We're back with our tent, but our class doesn't meet again until the 18th. All right. Thanks, guys.
Feel better.
Feel better.
I will. And we'll see you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.